Hey, welcome back to Reading the Bible Together. Pastor Matt alongside Dave again today. Yesterday, the death and burial of Jesus. Today, the resurrection of Jesus. Good news of great joy that's for all the people. But when we jump into Mark 16, something interesting is in the text that I kind of wanted to point out ahead of time. And it might be in the Bible that you read that there's this kind of hard bracket that says some of the earliest manuscripts do not include chapter 16, verse 9 through 20. And what they're truly trying to communicate with us is that the very earliest copies that we have of the Gospel of Mark ends with chapter 8. And one of the reasons why that might have been the case is that Mark wanted to kind of leave you with a cliffhanger so that you could continue to ask that question of yourself, who is Jesus? Now, why do we include verses 9 through 20 in the text? We include it because they're consistent with what we have in the other Gospels, in Matthew, in Luke, and in John. And so, why did this get added in after the fact in secondary manuscripts years after the originals? It could have been a special release. It could have been an anniversary edition of the Gospel of Mark. But we do know that what was included is true, because it's consistent with what we've seen in the other Gospels. But Dave, thanks so much for joining us again. We're going to jump into to chapter 16 with the good news.
Yes, when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James and Salome, brought spices so they could go and anoint him. And very early on the first day of the week, when the sun had risen, they went to the tomb. And they were saying to one another, "Who will roll away the stone for us from the entrance of the tomb?" And looking up, they saw the stone had been rolled back, and it was very large. And entering the tomb, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, dressed in a white robe, and they were alarmed. And he said to them, "Do not be alarmed. You seek Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He has risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him. But go and tell his disciples and Peter that he is going before you to Galilee. There you will see him, just as he told you." And they went out and fled the tomb, with trembling and astonishment had seized them. And they said nothing to anyone, for they were afraid.
Now, when he rose on the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, from whom he had cast out 7 demons. She went and told those who had been with him, as they mourned and wept. And when they heard that he was alive and had been seen by her, they would not believe it. And after these things, he appeared in another form to 2 of them as they were walking into the country. And they went back and told the rest, but they did not believe them. And afterward, he appeared to the 11 themselves as they were reclining at table. And he rebuked them for their unbelief and hardness of heart, because they had not believed those who saw him after he had risen. And he said to them, "Go into all of the world and proclaim the gospel to the whole creation. Whoever believes and is baptized will be saved, but whoever does not believe will be condemned. And these signs will accompany those who believe. In my name they will cast out demons, they will speak in new tongues, they will pick up serpents with their hands, and if they drink any deadly poison, it will not hurt them. They will lay their hands on the sick, and they will recover." So then the Lord Jesus, after he had spoken to them, was taken up into heaven and sat down at the right hand of God. And they went out and preached everywhere, while the Lord worked with them and confirmed the message by the accompanying signs. All right, it's good news. Resurrection Sunday. What's sticking out to you today, Dave?
Well, there's quite a bit, obviously. This moves so fast. Those first 8 verses and everything that's happening. The person sitting in there dressed in white. But what just really stood out to me today as I was preparing for this is when he says, "Go and tell his disciples and Peter." Yeah. And I the way that I read that is just how personal God is. He's calling out Peter by name.
Yeah.
And I would assume that's because of the earlier part where Peter is disowning Jesus, And I was just thinking about, like, where is Peter at emotionally in this? I've disowned you. I ran away crying after running away from you, and then you're dead. Right? And like the last thing I did before you died was say, I don't believe in you. And now you're dead. And so I don't know what all this means. Like, just the amount of confusion. And this angel of the Lord, or whatever this person is in the tomb, says, and make sure Peter hears this.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
You know, so that got me.
That is awesome. I love that. I also just love the cliffhanger nature. If we stop it at verse 8.
Yep.
Because of just what it asks of us, right? This story is truly unbelievable. It's unbelievable in 2026. It's unbelievable in the first century when Mark first wrote it down for other people. But it's unbelievable because we've seen death, and death is final. There is no coming back from death, and it might be different as we read the text, because we've seen resurrections in the text where Jesus brings people back to life. But that's Jesus doing something amazing. We've never seen somebody bring themselves back to life. And so that kind of bewilderment is what kind of just sticks with me, that this fear is real, that it's astonishing, but that Jesus also, we know, overcomes that fear and works through that fear in proclamation. What deep meaning do you have today for chapter 16?
Oh, kind of thought the first part was pretty deep.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we asked 3 questions.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was it for me.
okay. 1 for 1, 2 for 2. I'll jump in. I'll say I love that they were going to do the work, and they were asking practical questions. And I think that's okay for us to be asking as well. Like, is there a huge impediment in our way? Like, who is going to carry away the stone for us so that we can do the things that we need to do? And oftentimes, in the text especially, when there's something impossible that no person can do, God does it for us. And so am I looking for those moments in life? What are you going to do today, having read the resurrection?
After Jesus is with them, and he rebukes them.
Yeah.
Which very
Love that.
interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. And right after a rebuke, he says, "Go into the world and proclaim the gospel to the whole creation." And I don't think in that moment they understood that, Jesus, like, everyone gets to know about me. And the fact that even though just a minute ago I was telling you, like, hey guys, you got to understand this, he invites them in right away to go and bring this good news out. You and I will always have reasons we discount ourselves from being able to bring the gospel to people. Either something we did, something we believe, something that we're struggling with. And Jesus, like, he's dealing with those things, right? Because there's a rebuke going, hey, don't be, that's not what you need to be like. But just right away, all right, now let's go. Let's go. Go be a part of what Jesus is doing. And so go proclaim the gospel to everyone.
I'm going to steal that one too. Thinking about when Paul says, I'm the worst of sinners, but God had mercy on me so that others might look at me and be like, well, if God can have mercy on him, well, there might be good news in store for me too. And so I think that kind of self-reflection, right? This mercy, this grace that God gives is for me. It's for Dave. It's for you. It's for everyone. And so I think that's what I'm going to do today too. I'm going to go home and I'm going to share the good news of great joy that's for all people. Thanks so much for joining us as we've read through the Gospel of Mark. Dave will be back tomorrow when we pick up Luke. We'll see you then.